Okay, it's week 3 of my Mont Blanc training program. Things are going pretty well, sticking to the plan. Welcome to my 3rd update of my training for Mont Blanc video. I'm doing alright. I've completed all the training. I'm feeling kind of crappy though. I'm actually kind of run down. I don't know if you can see, but I've got a cold sore.
Pretty gross.
I'm really not feeling that good. I'm not feeling bad enough to not train. I will do a video in the future about training when you're sick, when you should stop, when you should start up again. I'll cover that in a future video. But in this video, what I want to talk about is aerobic training. And no, I'm not talking about the 80s Jane Fonda wearing a leotard doing aerobics Oz style. I'm talking about aerobic training as in cardiovascular training. The most important part of this exercise is the breathing. Now, it's the quality and the quantity of your breath that matters most in the mountains, especially when you're at altitude. How much you breathe and how often you're breathing is the sole determinant of whether you get altitude sickness. And I've got a number of videos that are coming out in the next few weeks to go into more detail, but I'm going to cover running and aerobic training in this video. So training our lungs or doing cardio is so important for our performance in the mountains. And the simplest form of cardio for most people is to go running. Now, I'm not really a big fan of running, both because I find it boring, but also I find that it's very hard on my joints. And as someone who has muscular imbalances, I'm not perfect, many people do. The more you run, the more you expose and give fuel to those muscular imbalances. I've trained many triathletes, many long distance runners who have had a lack of strength training for years and years, and all they've done is run and cycle and swim. And so what I see in these patterns is that those muscular imbalances end up manifesting themselves into injuries, and it's usually, Achilles strains or tears. There's calf problems, there's a lot of knee issues, ankle issues, hip issues, and it's because of these muscular imbalances. And if you're a runner, it's hard to avoid that sort of stuff. But for someone who's training for the mountains like we are, we don't need to do that high amount of running with that huge impact on the body. We can choose to do other things that are still great cardiovascularly, but we don't have to run. So because of this, I don't program running at all in my programs unless someone is a strong runner and they're aware of their limitations and abilities with running. I just program aerobic work, and you can choose whichever type of aerobic work you like to do, as long as you stick to the parameters of the heart rate and the amount of time that you're putting in doing that activity. Now at this stage with my cardiovascular work, I'm building a huge aerobic base that I want to draw on later in the program. Now at the moment, all I'm doing is working very easily. I'm just working at a 5 or 6 out of 10 in terms of the effort that I'm putting in, and I'm going very steady on the flat for the most part. And all I'm doing is just basically running around the city. I'm getting about between 5 and sort of 7 kilometers done in those aerobic sessions. So if you're following along with this program or one of my other programs, you can choose to run if you like, if that's something you're into. But in those aerobic sessions, you can choose any type of aerobic fitness, whether it be rowing, assault bike, cross trainer, you could be swimming, you could be hill walking, you could just be walking fast. You don't have to have a really high heart rate. You don't need to be working hard in this session. You just need to be operating cardiovascularly and working, like I said, at about 5 or 6 out of 10. You're not trying to get to a point where you're panting. You are trying to work as little as possible for as long as possible. And this is well proven in many different studies that working less hard for a longer period of time pays off when it comes to building your aerobic capacity. So what if you love running and you know that you have muscular imbalances and you notice that it is impacting your body? Well, if you want to keep running, there's a couple of things you can do. You can learn to minimize the impact that running is having on your body, and the main way you can do that is by changing your running form. Now there's a bunch of different videos on YouTube that show you how to forefoot run or low impact run. You can try different shoes. A lot of people are saying that they've had great results from going into minimal shoes, like barefoot style shoes. I wouldn't recommend doing that initially. That's something you need to implement slowly over time. If you go directly into running in a barefoot shoe, you're probably going to tear something, you're probably going to have an injury because it's a huge change for the body. So just implement that little by little if you are planning to make that change into barefoot running shoes. One of my favorite videos on changing running form is by Danny Dreyer. He has a business called the Chi Running Technique, and he's been doing this for, I don't know, 20 or 30 years or something. It is an excellent video that demonstrates this forefoot or midfoot running style, where you're essentially using your own body weight leaning forward as a method of propelling you. And when I first found this, like 7 or 8 years ago, I took 5 minutes off my 10K time overnight like that, just by changing my technique and leaning forward in the run. So whether you're into running or not, I think it's really useful for you to have a look at this video. I'll put a link in the description below. Try this forefoot running style. It might have a great impact on you whether you're a runner or not, like it did for me. So go and check that out. So that's about all I have to say this week in terms of running and aerobic work. If you haven't been following along with what I'm doing on Instagram, I'll lay out my first 5 weeks for you. Essentially, I'm doing Monday strength, Tuesday stairs, Wednesday a run, Thursday is a rest day, Friday is strength, Saturday is either going hiking or climbing, and then Sunday is another rest day. So that's the basic format that I'm working on, and I've had to change that around a couple of times because I was away for part of this week where I didn't have access to the gym. And secondly, I had the opportunity to get out in the mountains a couple of times with Albert and Roger, the guys I'm climbing with. So that's always going to be a better option, actually going climbing with my friends rather than doing what I have planned for training. So when things like that come up, you just got to jump on it and go, and that's what I've done so far. Over the next few weeks, I'm going to go into more detail about the different types of aerobic work that I'll be doing, the different types of running sessions, such as interval work and hill sprints. I'm going to be detailing all those in future videos, so hang in there. I hope you're enjoying this vlog series. If you have any questions, put them in the comment section below or contact me on my social links. I'm going to be taking it easy this weekend. It's the long weekend for the Easter holidays. I'm just going to be staying here in the city, maybe doing some climbing in the gym. I've been out in the mountains a lot this week. Let me know what you're up to. If you're doing any training either tomorrow or this weekend, let me know in the comment section below what you're up to. I'd love to know what you're training for and what you're doing. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you on the summit.